Well, I came to the United States in 1969 as an immigrant. We were fleeing communist Cuba. And coming to the United States and learning about our form of government, the democracy, the rights that we didn't have in Cuba, to me, that was my motivation, that I want to preserve those rights that we did not have in the country that I was coming from. I am. I'm the first, actually the first person in my family who's graduated with a four-year degree. Definitely the only lawyer, the only judge in the family. So at the age of 12, having come to this country at the age of 8 and immersing myself in the community, in the government, learning about our how this country was started, I knew at age 12 that I wanted to be a lawyer. And I told my parents that I wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't know any lawyers at the time that I could have as role models. My parents had a friend who was going to go to law school. My parents' friend's daughter was going to go to law school. And she actually went to law school, but then dropped out. And I remember having a conversation that she said it was very difficult, and she decided to take a different career path. But I was determined that I was going to be a lawyer. Well, for me, it's the fulfilling a dream. For me, becoming a judge was not something that was easy. I come from very, my parents were not rich. I had to put myself through school. Um, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So, for me, becoming a judge was the fulfillment of a dream, something that I wanted to do. After having been an attorney for several years, I knew that I wanted to have people on the bench that looked and sounded like me. Um, Coming to Broward County in 1988, there were no Hispanic judges on the state trial bench. And when I would come to court with my clients, they could not relate to the judge that was presiding over the case because the judge did not have any cultural background, did not understand why this person was not a U.S. citizen and why they didn't speak English. So those were motivating factors for me to wanting to be a judge, to have diversity on the bench. My favorite part about being a judge is being able to make a difference in someone's life. Everyone that comes to court because of a personal conflict, personal experience that they're having, and they want to be able to have some resolution to their conflict, whatever it is, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a dispute or a criminal matter. And so my goal is to make sure that when they leave, they feel that they had their day in court, because that's so important for people to be able to have an opportunity to be heard and to feel that okay, maybe the judge didn't rule in my favor, but I got to say what I needed to say. I got to present the evidence that I wanted to present, and I'm fine with the resolution because they were able to have their day in court. I have been on the bench now for 17 and a half years because I started as a magistrate and I've been a judge. This is my 13th year. When I started on the bench, I was a dependency magistrate, and dependency cases are involving children who are abused, abandoned, neglected. When I was elected as a judge in 2006, I was placed in the dependency division as a circuit court judge. And one of my fondest moment was presiding over this case where I terminated the parental rights of the parents of this minor child who had been severely abused, and was able to allow for this child to be adopted by the grandmother. I remember I left the dependency division and went into the family division after that, and I remember the grandmother coming by and letting me know how her grandson, now son, was doing. This was a child that had severe brain injuries. And so that's one of the moments that, all adoption cases are always feeling good types of cases because you can see something good coming out of something that was perhaps tragic. So that's one of the cases that I'm the fondest of the most. Um, one of my favorite cases, or one of my most known cases recently, has been, I'm labeled as the judge that saved Christmas. I had the case involving the Christmas lights in Plantation. And that case got a lot of publicity, national publicity. And so it's one of those cases that, I think the right result came out. And so I'm recognized a lot because of that case. I think we need more. Absolutely. We have 90 judges. Of the 90 judges, we only have 12 Hispanic judges, or judges of Hispanic descent. And of the magistrate, I think we have about 10 magistrates. We have two now, but we're getting a new one, so we were going to have 3 Hispanic magistrates, I think, effective next month. But I'm currently serving in the criminal division. Besides myself and Judge Bober, there are no other Hispanic judges on the criminal division. A good percentage of the cases that come before a judge in the criminal division are people who are Hispanic or African Americans. And I think it makes a difference when people who may be looking to serve time for life, or a long time of incarceration, that they want to see a judge that perhaps understands them. Again, I think that it's a good response when the person that's presiding over your case might be familiar with your cultural situations, some of the plight that they have. And so I think absolutely we need more Hispanic judges. It needs to reflect our community. Right now, Broward County Hispanic percentage is over 21% of Hispanic voters are Hispanic. Our bench doesn't reflect that. So absolutely, we need more Hispanic judges. And I've always been a proponent to getting more Hispanic judges on the bench. That's when I came to Broward County as a Hispanic American lawyer, I felt isolated. I didn't see anyone in the courthouse that looked or sounded like myself. And that was one of the motivation for starting the Hispanic Bar Association, to basically lobby the governor to get a judicial nominating commission that would be sensitive to the fact that the bench do not reflect the community. And that's been an ongoing battle. And, we got our first, Judge Gonzalez was the first Hispanic judge in Broward County. He was appointed in the early 70s, I'm not sure. I know he got appointed in the 80s to the federal bench, but he was the first Hispanic judge in Broward County. But after Judge Gonzalez, we didn't have a Hispanic judge until Judge Diaz was elected, and I believe that was in '92. And that was because of the lobbying efforts that our organization did to basically bring to the attention of the governor's office, the community, the lack of Hispanic judges on the bench. And I think that needs to continue. That needs to be a goal that needs to continue, because if we don't do that, no one else is going to do it. Absolutely. I think Hispanic lawyers and the Hispanic community have to be united. Unity brings you power. Division does not. Division brings dissent. It doesn't create anything. When you are a powerful, united front, you have power. You have voting power. People listen to you because you're united. Division doesn't. So absolutely, the Hispanic community, the lawyers need to be unified. Well, my advice is get involved in your community. Get involved in your community, get involved in bar functions. Let people know who you are. Just don't show up and say, hey, I want to be a judge, because people will say, where have you been? So my advice to lawyers are the following. Be involved in your community, both in the bar part of the community, be involved in the Hispanic community. Be out there. Let people see you. Let people know what you stand for. Let people know what your dream or vision goal is. Plant that seed early on. And remember that your reputation will always follow you. So be kind to people, be humble, um, and get involved. Uh, and the bottom line, it's whether you get appointed or elected, it's a political process. So you need to make the relationships, you need to make the contacts. You might be great as a trial lawyer, you might be great as being the first in your class, but if you don't have those relationships, people that will vouch for you, vouch for your character, vouch for your qualifications, it's not going to happen. So be involved.